All right, Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
I'm Brother Nakam.
Brother Naquam.
Brother Ra.
We're with the Raleigh, North Carolina camp. Before we go any further, we want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son,
Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahab Rakar Kadash.
Next up, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, teaching us this 1,000,000% truth of the Bible, and a double shalom to all the sincere Akams throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth of righteousness and sincerity to the best of your ability. You know, we're going to get onto a quick lesson real quick, let you know how Yahweh Ba'Hashem Shah feels about these other nations, let you know that they're nothing to him.
Right.
So, without further ado, the first scripture we're going to pull is Amos chapter 3, verse 1.
All right, the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Right. It said, hear this word. And what word is it talking about? This King James Bible, this 1611.
Right.
So I can read that. Baba, shall I read that from the top again?
Yeah, Amos 3 and 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Right. And how is Yahweh Shema speaking this word? He's speaking this word through men. And he said, so I can read that from the top one more time.
Yep. It says, hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Right. So you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans, hear this word which Yahweh Shema Shai has spoken to you. You so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans, who are the real biblical Hebrew Israelites.
That's right.
Read on.
It says, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
Right. Which the whole family, which Yahweh Shema Shah brought up out of the land of Egypt. You know, because Yahweh Shema Shah brought you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans out of the land of Egypt by the hand of Moses.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. It reads on saying, verse 2, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Right, so Yahweh Shema Shah only knows you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans, once again, which are the real biblical Hebrew Israelites. He doesn't know these other nations. He doesn't know the so-called white man. He doesn't know the so-called Arab man. He doesn't know the so-called African man. He doesn't know the so-called Chinese man. He doesn't know the so-called Japanese man. He doesn't know the so-called Indian. He only knows you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans out of all these other nations that are upon the face of the earth right now.
That's right.
I'm dealing with them.
That's right. It reads on, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Right. So Yahweh Shema Shah is going to punish you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans for all your iniquities. And when you look at that word iniquity, it means wickedness. So he's going to punish you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans for your wickedness, from transgressing the law, from going against the law, you know, from eating your shrimp, pork, crab, lobster, from sleeping with the next man's wife, vice versa, from putting tattoos all your face and your body, from line-ups, you know, defiling the temple by smoking weed and cigarettes. So Yahweh Shema Shah is going to punish you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans for all your iniquities, your wickedness.
That's right. And bro, just to chime in, I got a precept. You mentioned transgression of the law, right? So I got that in the Bible, because you know everything we mentioned, we like to prove according to the Bible. Okay, so 1 John, now let's break that down. 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
Right. So it said, whosoever committed sin transgress the law. So once again, you eat shrimp, pork, crab, lobster, you're sinning. You worship all these false gods, who are no gods, such as Caesar, Borgia, Allah, Buddha, the Hindu god of Shiva, Santa Maria, you're sinning. If you're defiling the temple by smoking weed and cigarettes, you're sinning. If you're celebrating all these pagan holidays such as Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, 4th of July, your birthday, your mama's birthday, you're sinning.
Right.
You know, and it said whosoever.
Right.
You know, a lot of people might try to say that whosoever's talking about the whole world, everybody can sin. But we know that whosoever is talking about the nation of Israel. And we know only Israel can sin. And we're going to prove that only Israel can sin by going to Leviticus 26 and 46.
That's right. That's right. Okay, you good on that?
We're going to tie it back.
Okay, yep.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 46. These are the law, these are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord Yahweh made between him and the children of Israel.
It said these are the statutes, judgments, and laws which Yahweh Shema Shah made between him and the children of Israel. You sure didn't say Moab?
The children of Israel.
You sure didn't say Ammon?
Between him and the children of Israel.
You sure didn't say Ham?
Between him and the children of Israel.
You sure didn't say the so-called white man?
Between him and the children of Israel.
You say the Dahe East Indian?
Between him and the children of Israel.
What about Ishmael?
Between him and the children of Israel.
All right, so these laws, statutes, and judgments were made between Yahweh Shema Shah and the children of Israel. That's plain. You can't get around that. Read on, Baba Kashaw.
And Mount Sinai by the hands of Moses.
Once again, in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses, because Yahweh Shema Shah led you so-called blacks, Latino, and the Americans out of the land of Egypt by the hand of Moses.
That's right.
And that's where you receive the law, statutes, and commandments of this Bible. And only you so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Americans were there in Mount Sinai to receive the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible that was given to Moses by Yahweh Shema Shah.
Yep. Can I throw in a precept, bro? I got a precept of that which helps ties back into 1 John 3 and 4. Psalm chapter 147:19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Right, he showeth his word unto Jacob. Jacob represents you so-called blacks, Latino, and American because Jacob's name was changed to Israel after he wrestled the angel.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Right, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So Yahweh Shema Shah show his law, statutes, and commandments unto you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans who are the real biblical Israelites.
That's right.
You know, so just proving it once again, going back to 1 John 3 and 4, when they say whosoever is talking about you so-called blacks, Latino, and the Americans.
That's right.
Only you can sin, only you can transgress the law because the laws were only given to you. So only you can sin according to Psalms 147 and 19 and Leviticus 26 and 46.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Read on verse 20. Verse 20.
Yeah, verse 20. Verse 20. The book of Psalm chapter 147, verse 20. He hath not dealt so with any nation.
Right. So anybody outside you so-called blacks, Latinos, and the Americans, Yahweh Shema Shah is not dealing with you. Like we said earlier, he's not dealing with you so-called Chinese. He's not dealing with you so-called Japanese. He's not dealing with you so-called Arabs. He's not dealing with you so-called Africans, so like doodle-eating Africans. He's not dealing with you so-called Dahe East Indian or the so-called white man. He's not dealing with you other nations. Read on, Baba Kashaw.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
And as for Yahweh Shema Shah's judgment, these other nations haven't known them. Why? Because they won't give his commandments to know his judgments in the first place.
I'm going to finish out. Praise ye the Lord.
Right. Praise ye Yahweh Shema Shah.
I was waiting for you to call it. You already had it, guys.
So now that we know that these laws, statutes, commandments are only given to the nation of Israel, and we know that Yahweh Shema Shah didn't deal with the other nations, we're going to get how he feels about these other nations now. On Isaiah 40:17.
Oh, I'm about to say, you want second Esdras or first?
Either one.
Can I get second Esdras?
You can get Isaiah 40:17.
This is the book of second Esdras, 6 and 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all.
Right. So it's plain that we all know we come from Adam. You know, that you know we should all know we come from Adam. That's plain.
That's right.
We'll read on.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
And the people that Yahweh Shema Shah has chosen. You know, because they all try to say we all come from out of Adam. Right. We did all come out of Adam, but there's a chosen people that come out of Adam.
That's right.
That's right.
Hold on.
It's
Psalms 135 and 4.
I got a precept for that.
Okay, good.
This is the book of Isaiah 44 and 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen.
Right, that's plain. He said, read that one more time, Baba Shaw.
This is the book of Isaiah 44 and 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen.
Israel, who Yahweh Shema has chosen. You know, so we all come out of Adam, but Yahweh Shema chose Israel. So you so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans, which are the real biblical Hebrew Israelites, you're on Yahweh Shema Shah's chosen people.
That's right.
That's right.
Verse 55.
Keep going. Yep.
Verse 55, 2 Ezra 6 and 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake.
Right. Yahweh Shema Shah made this world for our sakes. You know, the other planets and all that stuff. Yahweh Shema Shah made the world for our sakes.
I got a precept for that. This is 2 Ezra 7 and 10. And I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. Verse 11. Because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Right. So I just proved right there in the precept that the world was made for Israel's sakes, man. Because Scripture says the Lord said that I made the world because hold on. because for their sakes I made the world. You know what I mean? The Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the confusion that faces whose biblical line go back to the Yahshua Allah, man, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. You know, so I just wanted to bring that precept out to prove that the world was made for the Israelites, man, and not everybody else.
Right. And if I could chime in, bro, and, you know, and you go back to the world's sake, it means for the purpose of. And so, you know, there's a purpose for everything. There's a purpose for all these other heathen nations, and particularly they were put on this earth to serve us, and we were supposed to be rulers, and which we will. Okay, when the kingdom comes, but we're supposed to be rulers over these people.
That's right.
Okay, all these other heathen nations, man. So there's a purpose for everything, and that purpose was for them to serve us. Point blank, simple.
Keep going, bro. Yeah. As for the other people,
yeah, you're right. As for the other people, these other nations, read on.
Which also come of Adam. Thou hast said that they are nothing.
Right. So these other nations that come out of Adam, because we proved that we all come out of Adam. But then he said they're the chosen people, which is the Israelites.
That's right.
And now you other nations that come out of Adam, you're nothing.
Right.
But be like unto spittle.
So you're nothing, and you're like unto spittle. And what is spittle? Spittle is spit. You know, like if we spit on the ground right now, you don't care about that spit. That's why you spit out in your mouth in the first place.
Right.
Right.
You know, we're not gonna go home, you know, and think about that spit and be like, oh, let me go back and get it real quick. Let me go clean it up. You're not worried about it. That's how Yahweh Shem Shah feels about you other nations.
Right.
And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Right, and have likened the abundance of them with that has dropping from the a bucket of a vessel. And what is that talking about? It's talking about like you got a bucket of water, so you carrying a bucket of water, you know, and one little drop or something just fall out of that bucket. You're not gonna be worried about that little drop that fall out of that bucket, you know. Well, you worried about what's in the rest of that bucket.
Right.
You know. If that one little drop fall in the bucket, you're not gonna get a little squeegee or a rag and try to soak it back up and put it back in the bucket. That's nothing. You know, you worried about what's in that the rest of that bucket.
Right. That's right, bro.
That's it, right?
That's it on that.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the point.
That's right. 17.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 15. I'm starting 15.
Okay.
It says, "Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket."
There it is again. You other nations outside of the so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans, you're at the drop of a bucket. You know. Once again, it's a water drop on the ground. You know, you're not worried about that little drop. You know, you're gonna worry about what's in the rest of that bucket.
Right.
You know, not that you're not worried about that little drop.
Right. It reads on, and are counted as the small dust on of a balance.
Keep going.
Yep. And basically, you know, you put dust on the balance, it's not gonna weigh anything, right?
Right.
So that tells you that equals these other nations. You are nothing. All right. It reads on, behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And I'm going to jump to verse 17. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing, and vanity.
Right, so all nations before Yahweh Shem Shah outside the so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans, you're nothing to him. So I'm going to say it again. You so-called Arabs, so-called Japanese, so-called Chinese, so-called white men, so-called East Indians, so-called Africans, anybody else who I left out who's outside the so-called blacks, Latino, and Americans, you're nothing to Yahweh Shem Shah.
That's right.
You're nothing. And it's bad enough that you're nothing, but then the brother said that it said, and they accounted to him less than nothing.
That's right.
You know, that you can't even describe that. It's already bad that you're nothing, but then when Yahweh Shem Shah go further to say that you're less than nothing, that's a bad feeling. That's not a good feeling. You're less than nothing.
Right.
Don't forget the Japhites.
And the Japhites.
Yep.
Kind of out of the water.
That's right.
You know, so the other nations are nothing.
That's right. And that's it on that. But I'm gonna read it again from start at 17. The book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 17. And all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity.
Right, and vanity. So
It's worthless.
all you other nations outside of the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Americans are nothing.
Right.
You know, he ain't dealt with your other nations. He never will deal with your other nations. And you're going to be nothing to him. You're going to forever be nothing to him.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
You know, he only known the nation of Israel. And those are the ones who got the laws that's commanded of the Bible. None else.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
Anybody got something for it?
Yeah, I just want to close out by saying, you know, hey, look, the Lord can choose who he wants to choose. Okay, the Lord has a favorite, you know, a favorite flower. All right, he has a favorite people. Okay, a favorite nation, a favorite tribe out of the nations. Okay, you can't control that. Okay, you so-called East Indians. okay, the so-called white man first and foremost, who's trying to change the image of Lord Yahushua, okay? All you other heathen nations, you can't control that. Lord has a favorite nation, man, and it's the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, including the confusion of faces. So that tells you, hey, these other nations are nothing. Hey, the Lord went further, like the brother said, to say that you're less than nothing, okay? So point blank simple, hey, it's in the scriptures. It's not coming from our words, not coming from our mouths. So like it, we are the mouthpiece of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but it's not coming from our vain thoughts. It all coming from the scriptures, okay? And we're reading the Bible.
That's why I say on St. Luke 10:16, he that hears you hear me.
That's
so
right.
If you hear, like the brother said, we hear Yahweh Shem Yahshua's mouthpiece.
Right.
So if you hear we saying, you ultimately hear what Yahweh Shem Yahshua is saying.
That's right. That's right. You want to say anything?
Oh, yeah, man. You know, hey, like the brothers going in, man. You other nations, you know what I mean? Outside of the nation of Israel, you're nothing, man.
Right.
And you'll forever be nothing, man. And you're gonna get destroyed, man.
That's right.
Like the slaves and parasites that you are.
That's right.
God, that's it.
All right.
Well, with that, hope you've been edified. It's been another GMS on the go. This is the Raleigh, North Carolina camp. Before we go any further, we want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Wahab, Rakar, Kadash.
Next up, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, teaching us this 1,000,000% truth of the Bible, and a double shalom to all the sincere outcomes throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth of righteousness and sincerity to the best of your abilities. With that, shalom.
Shalom.